Hey everybody, welcome to Around the Twist. This is episode 192. It is January 21st, 2015. Yay, I managed to do this 2 weeks in a row. Wonder of wonders. The twins were napping when I started, but I'm starting to hear little baby voices, so we might have to see how fast I can get through this. They're actually upstairs in their nursery, which is right above my craft room back there. So the cold air return comes down. So I actually have a pretty good, I don't have to use a baby monitor or anything. I can still actually hear them. So let's get started. I really don't have a whole lot to show you guys this week because, well, it's only been a week. I feel like I have so much still to tell you from the last year, but then I start thinking about it and it starts getting overwhelming and it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll take things in small little chunks and see how it goes. First, let's start off. Everyone have their hot beverage of choice. Mine is my root beer float coffee from San Marco. So if you're still ordering from San Marco or planning to, no, I've never heard back from them. I have written to them several times. I've had people tell me I should be getting kickbacks for all the times I mentioned them. I've never heard back from their customer service. I've never heard back from any of my emails, nothing. I enjoy their coffee. Their shipping is great. Their flavors are wonderful. I've only had maybe 3 out of all of the flavors that I've tried that I really haven't cared for. So I'd say yay. There's one I really want to tell you about, but unfortunately I had just ground this, like a whole grinder full of beans yesterday of root beer float, so I can't tell you, but I do have a wonderful, wonderful new flavor I can't wait to share with you guys. So yay, that's what I'm drinking. What's everyone else drinking? I know it surprised me. Colorado weather is definitely a little more insane than Nebraska weather even was, and I thought Midwest weather was crazy, but we're just down from the foothills of the Front Range, so it was odd this morning. I looked out and it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of gray and overcast, but it's still supposed to be nice, I thought. So yeah, I was going to take the twins out for a little stroller ride, walk around the neighborhood, and next thing I know, I look outside and it's snowing like crazy. And we got maybe about an inch, and then the sun came out and it melted, and it's all gone already in the space of like 2 hours. It's nuts. I love it. It's great. So obviously I've already had a cup and a half of coffee today, but I can't record and not have coffee, so sorry guys. First things first, what I've been knitting. I have not touched Gabe's Monsters. They've been sitting over here on top of my printer since last week. I haven't touched them, so I have nothing to show on there. I do have progress on my A Little Bit Tipsy socks. These are the socks I'm knitting out of Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock Lightweight in Sadie Sue Tipsy. There you go. One of Tina's new colors. This is the first sock done. I'm doing a 64 stitch sock on US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. It's kind of my usual vanilla sock pattern, but with a purl variation. And I only did that on the cup because I wasn't sure how it would feel on the foot inside of my shoe. So you can kind of see how it is with that different texture. And then in a plain stockinette down here. So actually, in a week, I managed to finish half a sock, which for a mother of 15-month-old twins, I think I'm doing pretty darn good for that. So, yay. It seemed like once I hit the foot, this thing just motored. I think it was because I didn't have to pay attention to where the colors were, so I could sit down, and I've been rewatching Stargate Atlantis. I think I'm on end of season 2, beginning of season 3. I can't remember exactly where I'm at in there. Somewhere in there. I know Ronan's in there. Yay, Jason Momoa. Anyway, eye candy. Yes, I can be married and still have eye candy. Who doesn't? So, watching Stargate Atlantis, 2 in the morning since I'm still night shift, and just the sock flew because I'd had problems with the heel flap and the heel turn and everything last week. So I finished the heel flap and turn, and this is just a The pearl variation, I know I mentioned it last week, but here you go again. Every time I came to the blue teal color there, I would just start purling. And then when it would get back to the undyed sections, I would start knitting again. So there it is in the stockinette. I did do the gusset decreases on the bottom of the foot. There you go. I followed the instructions that are on Christy Brockway, Turtle Girl 76, on her Breaking Hearts socks, because I like the way they fit and the way it kind of cups the arch of my foot. So I've kind of thrown that into all my basic sock, vanilla sock recipes. So one sock done, and I started the second. Didn't get very far, but I did start it. Make sure I don't dip this in my coffee here. Finished my ribbing, and I've got maybe 1.5 inches, which it looks like poop. Because obviously everything's pulling with the needle, but about 1.5 inches into the cuff. So let's see, probably won't get too far on it because I have 4 shifts in a row coming up this weekend, and our new interim director of nursing at work kind of gave me a little no, we don't knit at work. So I don't have that option anymore unless it's on my breaks, which those are so, I have to eat sometime. So no more knitting at work for me, so it'll just be on my days and nights off whenever I can snatch time. So I've kind of become a monogamous knitter. And we'll get into that a little bit in various and sundry. So that's my only thing on the needles. We'll see how that continues. Hopefully by next week, maybe, fingers crossed, I might have a finished pair of socks for you guys. Next thing, what's on my wheel? I'm still working on the Crown Mountain Farms Superwash Merino in We Are the Champions. This is the same thing I showed you last week. Unfortunately, Crown Mountain Farms is out of business. Klaus had to close his doors to care for his family, personal reasons. So, hey, more power to him. This is the 3rd ball I managed to finish. So I have a very extensive Crown Mountain Farms Superwash Merino stash from years ago. Oh my gosh, I think there was a group of us that went in because if you ordered above a certain dollar amount, they would give you a discount. So, let's see. Yep, I've got that. All of their Superwash Merino came in these 8-ounce bumps. And like I said, Crown Mountain Farms is no longer open, so I'm sorry you can't order anymore. You might be able to find some in a D-stash on Ravelry if you're lucky. Try if you'd like to. They have beautiful, beautiful colors back from when Tayani was dyeing, and then when Klaus took over dyeing, the colors still remain beautiful, vibrant, gorgeous. Love them. And the fiber prep was absolutely fabulous on them too. So because it comes in 8-ounce bumps, I split my 8-ounce bump in half into 2 4-ounce sections, split one 4-ounce section into thirds, and then the other 4-ounce section. Okay, the camera does not like me leaning, evidently. What is going on? I'm sorry, you guys. I haven't had a chance to get to Best Buy or anywhere else. Come on, camera, focus. Okay, well, I'll just hold the pretties up close to the camera where it will focus on them. So this is the second 4-ounce bump, and this 4-ounce bump is going to be Navajo plied. I swear, someone please tell me how to fix this. These are the first 2 thirds of the traditional 3-ply sock yarn that I'm going to do. If I'm lucky. Oh, focus. There we go. So that was the first third. Here's the second third. It ended up, you can kind of see up here, a little more marled. I guess the color, the lengths of the color repeat got a lot shorter, which in the last third, it's kind of starting to do the same thing. You can see the blips of color. Oh, there we go. the colors kind of blip as they go. I mean, there are some bigger chunks, obviously that's going to be a good size purple section, but then it's just like little bits. Whereas the first section that I did, it seemed like the colors were it was a lot longer pattern. But looking at these, obviously, I did not break it. When I did this, we were still in our apartment. I did not have a kitchen scale at that time because my last one died, so I had no way to weigh these out. So I basically took the 4-ounce bump, I folded it in thirds, and at the 1/3 mark is where I just broke it. I didn't weigh it. Either my spinning is not consistent, which it looks consistent to me, or I did not split these that accurately. I'm leaning toward the latter, or I didn't pack this first bobbin very well. I guess the test will come with the plying, and I'm working on the 3rd bump, like I said, and that I started this morning. I was trying to get caught up on TV shows that I have fallen woefully behind on, and Marvel's Agent Carter, oh my gosh, amazing. I'm loving how Marvel is dragging everything together for all of the movies and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm not caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season, but that's okay. I'll catch up with it later when it goes on Netflix. So, yay, spinning. That's what I've been doing. I sit here at my computer, I watch podcasts, I watch TV shows, and I spin at like 2 in the morning when I'm wide awake and everyone else in this house is sleeping. The perils of night shift. So then, the other thing that I do when I'm up all night and I don't have little grabby hands and sticky fingers and small things that can go missing when small children are around, I pull out my pokey things, which is still my Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery 2012 winter sampler. And I haven't made nearly the amount of progress this week. I've only had it out 1, maybe 2 nights. I haven't felt motivated, I guess. So I have 1 square for you, that day 22 down there, the little cabin. That would be my one thing that I did. I'm kind of dreading 23, 24, and 25 because, like I said, 24 and 25 have that nasty metallic gold DMC for the frames. Day 23 also has the nasty metallic gold, be it for it's like a cake platter that has the figgy pudding sitting on top of it. So I've been dreading, and I think that's why I didn't work on it much this week. I've just been dreading it. And I don't want to work with that nasty metallic gold. And then my wonderful mother called me and said, well, honey, why are you using 2 strands of the metallic gold? Hold 1 strand of the gold with 1 strand of, she's like, you have like 4 boxes of floss in your craft room. Pull them out and pick a yellow gold regular thread that matches. Do 1 strand of that and 1 strand of the metallic. It'll be fine. And I'm going, where were you back at the beginning of this sampler when I hated that crunchy metallic stuff so bad? So, per my mother's suggestion, thank you, Mom, I think for these last 3 squares, I'm going to break out some yellow. I have 1 box of floss upstairs with the rest of my stitching supplies, my hoop and my scissors and everything, and just kind of having a little pile on top of our games, on top of our TV cabinet. And yeah, that's going to be my plan of attack for the last 3 days. And I think next thing I'm going to do is going to be the Once Upon a Time sampler, which was last year's sampler that Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery did. I have all the supplies for it. I have the gorgeous hand-dyed Aida fabric for it. I didn't go for the linen because I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting back into cross stitch. Let's not push things. But one thing I have to make sure of is that I find the center of the cloth, because looking at this, obviously I did not find the center of the cloth before I started stitching. I think I thought I had, and I counted up and over, and I started stitching up here rather than stitching in the center. Rookie move. Rookie move, Karen. Don't do that. So it's going to be interesting to frame, to say the least. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I need to find somewhere that can do framing of cross stitch. Definitely need to wash it because ick. Yeah, that's a dirt spot. Gross. I don't know what I got on it, but I probably dripped coffee on it or something at some point because nasty. Okay. So that's it for pokey things right now. On to various and sundry. The slippers for hubby, they are felted. Sort of. Front loader felting. I'm not crazy about it. I ran the slippers through 2 loads of towels on hot. They still have not lost all their stitch definition. And they're kind of wibbly. I mean, even on the bottom, you can kind of tell where they folded like this. I had each one in a separate lingerie bag so they wouldn't stick to each other. I mean, I tried to shape them when they were drying, but I don't know. I need to have hubby try them on now that they're dry and see what he thinks. I really want to run them through again, but I'm scared that I'll shrink them down too far and they won't fit him. Actually, hang on. Yes, I'm going to try them on myself here because his foot is only slightly larger than mine. Oh. Seriously? Well, hello, Daisy Duke. Are you coming to say hi? The Daisy has come to say hello. Come on. We had babies last week, and this week we have puppies. Hello, Miss Daisy. Can I help you? What's wrong? What's wrong? Yeah, I know Daddy's not home. I'm sorry. Okay, go. Yeah, I'm going to run these through again. I've probably got from there to there at the back of the heel. I was worried about shrinking them too short lengthwise. You got plenty of room. We're fine. I'm going to run these through again, see if I can get these bad boys felted down to where I want them. Okay, never mind. Problem averted. And if they don't go, if they don't do what I want them to, then, again, my wonderful mother is swooping in to save the day and told me I could send them to her because she's coming out to visit at the end of the month, so I'll mail them off. I'll run them through one more time, see if I can get them fixed on my own. If I can't, I will mail them off to her. She will take care of things in her top loader. I love my new washer and dryer, but I miss my top loader. And I'll say, Mommy, fix them, please. Oh, goodness. So now that all the Christmas knitting is done, I feel like I've turned into this monogamous knitter. Like I said, all this week I've done nothing but knit on the socks. And that's it. And I really haven't had a desire to knit on anything else. Like I come down and looked back in my craft room and looked at all the pretties and gone, oh yeah, I have plans for that and plans for this. And I kind of want a matching shawl, cowl, scarf thing to go with the sock head hat that I knit out of my hand spun. And yeah, I've got plans, but I don't have a desire to cast them on right now, which is, to me, is really weird. It's odd to only be working on one thing on the needles, but not really, like not have a desire to, oh my gosh, I only have one thing on the needles, I must cast on more. I don't have that right now, and I'm wait until next week. Next week I'll come back and I'll probably have like 8 things on the needles, and I'll go, well, that didn't last long, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for right now, I'm kind of going, monogamous knitting, huh? Well, and it's until Christmas, until this last Christmas, just from moving and because my stash was so limited while we were in the apartment in Loveland, I think I kind of got into that rut of, well, that, I'm sorry guys, but that, and I wasn't recording, so I didn't feel the pressure like I had to have 4 things to show you on the needles every week and progress on those 4 things every week. So I kind of got into this nice little thing of, hey, I'm just going to knit on one thing. And now all of a sudden I was churning out things. Really, it felt like I was churning out things. I only finished like 4 things in the 5 months until we moved into the house. So it really wasn't a whole lot, but it felt like a lot to me for some reason. So we'll see how this monogamous knitting thing goes, and might be great, might blow up in my face. We'll see. Might get a massive case of startitis next week. Oh, last thing. Sweater redemption. One of the things, well, okay, it's not the last thing. I've got sweater redemption. I'll get back to that. Some of the things that I've got kind of coming up in the pipeline. The reason hubby got socks or slippers for Christmas was because about Thanksgiving, I was asking him, and you quiz your husband or your significant other or pretty much your entire family, what do you want for Christmas? Give me some ideas. Give me something. And he says, it's kind of cold out here. I could use another pair of socks. And I kind of went, you're kidding, right? And I just kind of laughed like that and went, yeah, well, that's not happening. Number one, I have no yarn that is guy appropriate. Well, we were in the apartment at the time, so I had like 6 skeins of yarn, and they were all stuff I had picked out for me because I didn't think he wanted anything, because I've knit him a pair of socks, and my mom has knit him a pair of socks, and he doesn't wear them that often unless he's really either sick or freezing cold. And I was like, I could probably get you a pair of slippers. Well, he got 1 slipper, and it wasn't even finished technically for Christmas. But while we were at the apartment, Frida from Friday Studios put up this. Well, now it looks black. It's like it is black. Black, kind of that powder blue that nitrile, the non-latex gloves are, and then a white or an undyed. It's a stripey that is perfect for my firefly-loving husband because it's called 2x2 Hands of Blue. And at the time she listed it, it was on, I believe it was her Thursday base, which is a sparkly base. And I went, sent her a message and said, is there any way you could dye it on your Monday base? Which she said, yep, I know that that's what you want. So just go ahead and order the Thursday base that's there and I'll dye it up for you. So she was fabulous. Shipped out so quick. Again, that's Friday Studios. And it's superwash and 25% nylon. So these are going to be socks for hubby at some point. Some nice plain stockinette socks. And of course now he wants the last pair he wanted a very short cuff. Now he wants the cuff a little bit longer. So I have to work on that. And then I gave in. I have been watching Into the World, pretty much every shop update for about 1.5 years. And because I couldn't make Rhinebeck this year, I had told myself I'm going to, well, this year or last year actually. I missed 2 Rhinebecks. Oh my gosh. I was like, I'm going to give myself a little treat because I got rid of a lot of yarn, you guys, on the move. I went through my cupboards with an iron fist and I got rid of a lot of stuff. I just gifted it to my knitting friends in Omaha and they gladly took it off my hands. I'm sure they gave it very good homes. And so I ordered her Pakoku, I think is how you pronounce it, her Pakoku sock yarn, the lovely Chris. It's a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon in, I had to, Captain Tight Pants. And then Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey. Now obviously Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey is going to be for me. I actually had a braid of this and spun it up into a 3-ply and knit myself a sock head hat out of it. That's one of the projects I finished since the move. I spun a 3-ply and I immediately knit a sock head hat and used all but like a teeny tiny little ball. Not even sure what yardage I got because I didn't have my yardage meter. I didn't have my nitty naughty. I had no way to measure. So I just was like, what can I knit that I don't need to know the yardage? So this is going to become, I was talking about cowl scarfy thing to match that sock head hat, kind of matchy, non-matchy. It's at least the same colorway. And then I'm not sure if the Captain Tight Pants is going to be for hubby for a pair of socks or if they're going to be for me. I don't have a plan yet, but it's going in the stash cupboard. It's always good to have a well-curated stash. So that's there. And while I was digging through the stash cupboard, looking at all my lovely sock yarn, the cupboard next to it has all of my sweater and lace yarn in it. The lace yarn takes up like part of one shelf and the rest is all sweater yarn. And I realized I haven't knit a sweater in a while. My last one was my hero, which was last year. And I came across this bag. Now, if you've been a viewer of the show for just over 5 years, yeah, I missed my 5-year anniversary because I wasn't podcasting. So yay! Round the Twist has been going for 5 years. Not continuously, but I've been around for 5 years. You will remember from my first Rhinebeck the sweater in the oven incident with my Kayuni. Well, literally right after that happened, I was riding in the car with my friends. We were going to Rhinebeck. I'd had my little cry out in the garden outside the cabin. And get a text from my mom saying she had bought me more yarn to make another Kayuni sweater. And until now, I've looked at this bag of yarn and gone, I can't do it. It's the same colorway of the sweater that I toasted in the oven. I couldn't bring myself to it. But now I'm looking at it and going, dang it. It's time for some sweater redemption. Let's do this. And I kind of want to cast it on. But again, not right now because I'm knitting the socks. And then I have to knit Gabe's Monsters. And it's one of those things that this year I'm going to knit my Kayuni, darn it. And I'm not going to put it in the oven to try to dry it because I'm not going to be under any kind of time crunch. I strongly do not recommend trying to dry your sweater in the oven. After Yarn Harlot and I both in the same year toasted a sweater in the oven. She does it with a lot of success, it seems like. My first experience, okay, backstory, if you're just joining us or you haven't seen that episode, I had finished a Kayuni cardigan, color work. It was my first experience steeking, which I recorded for the show as a little tutorial. If you look back through the archives on Blip, you can find it. I'm at these little cabins with a bunch of friends up in the Catskills. It's my first Rhinebeck. I wanted to wear my Kayuni the entire weekend. It was pouring rain, at least Thursday and Friday while we were there. It was pouring down rain. It was so humid. There were only enough towels in this cabin we rented for each person to have one towel. And that was it because there were 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 5 of us. There was one teeny tiny spare hand towel. And I probably could have gone to the office and asked for more, but I was like, it's fine. Yarn Harlot dries her sweaters and shawls in the oven all the time. We've got an oven. I can do this. So I had finished. I'd done the button bands. I let it soak in the tub. I hear babies. Happy baby noises. I let it soak in the tub. I wrung it out as much as I could and then used this teeny little hand towel that was like 1/8 the size of the sweater to try to squish more water out of it. And it was comedy of errors because I'd squish water and then I'd wring the towel out. And then I'd squish more water and wring the towel out. And it was just a mess. So the sweater was so damp. I found a cookie sheet in the kitchen, kind of folded everything up loosely, heated the oven, stuck it in. Well, heated the oven, shut it off, stuck the sweater in. I did that several times, probably 4 or 5 times. I get up the morning that we're going to go, Saturday morning. It was still damp. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to catch my death of cold if I go out in a damp sweater. Let's not do this. So I thought, I'll be smart. I'm going to turn the oven on, heat it up, put the sweater in while the oven is still on, leave it that way for 5 minutes, and then shut the oven off and let the residual heat go, which is what I'd done the previous 4 or 5 times, except for the whole leaving the oven on while the sweater was in. At about 3.5, 4 minutes, I smelled burning hair and ran in, smoke coming out of the oven. Not huge. The sweater wasn't on fire, but it was smoldering. Threw it on the floor. It was charred beyond saving. So depressing. I showed it on the show and I could literally pick bits off and just crumble them into ash. I'm not going to do that with this sweater. Not going to. I didn't wear that sweater to ride my first Rhinebeck. It was so sad. So I'm going to dip myself a K-Uni this year. It's going to happen. That's my plan. And with that, I am going to leave you until next week. Happy knitting.